Attention or respect?
Which do you desire? Passion or fame? Which will fuel that fire? That everlasting flame, which inspires your art.
Live by the game or die by the heart? I haven't really been in the best headspace lately. A big part of the reason why is because I've been impatient. I want to reach certain heights that I have not reached yet, and I want to accomplish certain things that I haven't accomplished yet, even though I'm 20 years old, and I understand that it's okay to be where I am at 20, and I understand that I'm way further along right now than I was a year ago. If you asked me 1 year ago today what blowing up meant to me, I would have told you 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I just hit 28K yesterday. Right now, at this moment in time, I am the most successful that I have ever been in my life. If we're just going by the numbers, I have the most views that I've ever had. I have the most subscribers that I've ever had. I've changed more lives than I ever have before, and I've made more money than I ever have before. Okay, right now, I am at the pinnacle of success in my life thus far, and I understand that I'm just getting started. I know that deep down. But on the surface level, I feel like it's still not enough. And I know that this comes from the lack mindset, and the reason why I know that this comes from the lack mindset is because this is something that I preach to you guys all the time. I tell you that you cannot fill that void from an external source. You have to fill that void from within. Okay, it comes from the abundance mentality, understanding that you are enough, and happiness is a choice, gratitude is a choice, and you don't have to wait to accomplish anything to reach a certain level of success or to obtain a certain thing that you want to feel successful. You can feel that success right now. And this is something that, I know, obviously, but I have trouble applying, especially lately. Now, I think a big part of the reason why this is simply because I have been visualizing more of the surface level desires that I have, as opposed to the more meaningful desires that I have. I feel like for a while, I've been struggling with this internal battle where I want material items. Okay, I want to be rich. Let's just be completely transparent about that. I want to be rich. I want to have a lot of money. There's a certain lifestyle that I want to live. But at the same time, I want to make it my duty to help other people. I understand that that is a lot more meaningful, and that when I die, that is what people will remember. People won't remember me for the money that I had. They'll remember me for the people that I helped. That means a lot more to me. That means more to me deep down than seeing some number in my bank account or in my YouTube analytics. But at the same time, this is my job now, and this is something that I see a lot of YouTubers struggle with, actually. They start off just creating content that they want to create, and they fall in love with that process, and over time, as they start to make more money from doing that, it turns into a job, and they start thinking more in terms of how can I create content that people want to watch, as opposed to creating content that they want to make. And that's something that I've been struggling with recently myself. And this is a problem because my identity is reflected in my content. And if my YouTube channel is not a reflection of me as a person, then it becomes a reflection of me as a person over time, because I'm basically speaking my own identity into existence through my videos. For example, in the past, those Tinder Tuesday videos that people found so funny or entertaining. At first, it was just that, entertainment. It was just me basically putting on an act for the camera. And as soon as I turned the camera off, I got off Tinder. That was it. But over time, I began to adopt the habits that I showed in those videos in real life. I started doing that type of stuff in real life, off camera. I started to adopt that identity that I had created for myself. This is probably indicative of me needing to do more introspection overall. I need to figure out more of who I am. And I understand, like I said earlier, that I am 20 years old. I'm a young dude. It's okay to not know all of who I am at this point in time. I feel like that's a lifelong process. I feel like, if you know exactly who you are at 20, that means that you've stopped growing. That's probably my biggest fear, is the idea of not growing, which is probably why, like I said, I've been so impatient recently. I feel like I haven't been seeing the growth, not just in terms of my YouTube channel, but in terms of myself, my character. I want to become the best version of myself that I can be. And I know that I need to adopt that long-term mindset, but me visualizing all the wrong things and losing that sense of balance between my superficial material desires and my meaningful, impactful desires, that has definitely played into this, weird mental state that I've been in for the past few weeks. I won't say that I'm depressed, but if left unchecked, if I don't make a video like this, it could become that over time. Because as I've said in the past, depression is nothing more than you losing yourself. And I feel like I've been losing myself, and it's a very scary feeling. You never want to feel yourself falling into that space, but I feel like it's kind of necessary to fall into that space sometimes, because that's how you learn more about yourself. And I remember the last time I felt this way was in March of 2020. Okay, I was going through some very difficult, trying times, and that was around the time that quarantine started where I live, and I basically had nothing else to do but introspection. And if you followed my content from March throughout the rest of 2020, you could see that process of me slowly but surely finding myself and discovering different aspects of myself that I didn't realize were there. And I feel like, that's where the growth in my content came from. It came from learning more about myself as a person and becoming more self-aware and sharing that with the world. But at the same time, I understand that, if I just talk about myself, that doesn't necessarily breed success on YouTube. I want this to be my full-time gig. I want to be able to do that full-time. But I feel like in order to do that, I have to think about what people want to watch as well. I have to think in terms of, are people going to click on this video? Obviously, that sounds very superficial because it is, but at the same time, it's necessary. As a content creator, you have to find that balance between creating the searchable content and the content for you and your subscribers. And that's a balance that I'm still struggling to find. And I feel like I'm not alone in this. A lot of content creators have this issue, especially when money is involved, especially when they have big, ambitious dreams like I do, and they visualize themselves with these nice material items and, traveling the world and even giving money away, things like that. Even though I understand that the desire for material items generally stems from a desire for external validation, and that's something that I've recently become aware of and I'm working on actively, I still want money. I still want money, no matter how you cut it. I feel like for me to not focus on the money when it comes to YouTube kind of stunts my growth as a person because I don't have as much to invest in myself. But at the same time, if I focus solely on the money, that's where I start to lose that passion for creating content. And I start to lose myself in my desires because, like I said, my YouTube channel becomes a reflection of who I am. And that's, like I said, a struggle that I've been dealing with for these past few weeks, and I've had so much trouble articulating this that I couldn't even make a video about it until now.